The greatest mistake you are currently making in your relationships isn't what you're saying. It's the fact that you won't stop talking. You believe that by explaining your perspective, by pleading your case, or by filling every uncomfortable gap with your voice, you are building a bridge. You aren't. You are building a monument to your own desperation. Most men are terrified of silence because they view it as a void, a lack of progress, or a sign of failure. They think that if they aren't actively projecting their energy toward a woman, they are losing her. The reality is the exact opposite. Your constant noise is the very thing that is killing the attraction you're trying so hard to save. Silence is not a lack of action. It is the most calculated, high-level action a man can take to reset a dynamic where he has lost the upper hand. You have been told that communication is the key to everything, but they forgot to tell you that communication without value is just noise. When you over-communicate, you remove the element of mystery. You destroy the tension, and you signal to her that your energy is free, abundant, and cheap. Why should she value something that is constantly being forced upon her? You need to understand that the human mind is wired to value what is scarce and to ignore what is ubiquitous. By being the man who always explains, always checks in, and always seeks to resolve things through dialogue, you are making yourself common. You are making yourself predictable. And predictability is the absolute death of romantic desire. We are going to strip away the lies you've been fed about opening up and replace them with the cold, hard mechanics of psychological leverage. Silence is a mirror. When you stop talking, you force a woman to look into that mirror and confront her own feelings, her own behaviors, and her own level of investment. As long as you are talking, you are providing the script. You are giving her the words to use against you. But when you go silent, the script disappears, and she is left in a vacuum. It is in that vacuum that attraction is either reborn or exposed as a fraud. You think you're being the bigger person by talking things through, but often you're just being the smaller man who can't handle the discomfort of an unanswered text. To master the art of silence, you must first master the fear of losing someone who doesn't even fear losing you. Let's talk about what is actually happening inside a woman's mind when a man who previously gave her his energy suddenly stops. You need to understand that for most women, attention is the primary currency of the relationship. It is the oxygen of their ego. When you are constantly providing that attention, she doesn't have to work for it. She can take it for granted. She might even start to find it stifling or annoying because it's always there, like background noise. But the moment that noise stops, the silence becomes deafening. At first, she might feel a sense of relief or even a bit of smugness, thinking she finally has space. But that relief is short-lived. Very quickly, curiosity begins to set in. She starts to wonder why the pattern is broken. She wonders if you're angry, if you're hurt, or, the most terrifying option for her, if you've simply stopped caring. This uncertainty is where the power shift begins. A woman's imagination is far more powerful than any argument you could ever construct. When you give her your words, you limit her imagination to the boundaries of what you've said. When you give her silence, her imagination runs wild. She begins to fill the void with scenarios. She wonders who else you might be talking to. She wonders if she pushed you too far. She begins to reevaluate every recent interaction, looking for clues as to why you've checked out. This internal process is vital because it forces her to move from a position of being pursued to a position of being the observer. She is now the one reacting to you, even though you are doing absolutely nothing. This is the essence of psychological leverage. You aren't playing games. You are reclaiming the territory of your own mind and time. Women are masters of reading emotional subtext. They can feel when a man is using silence as a petulant child uses a pout, and they can feel when a man is using silence because he has genuinely withdrawn his interest. The latter is what creates obsession. When she realizes that your silence isn't a ploy to get her attention, but a result of you moving your attention elsewhere, her ego will not allow her to remain passive. She will feel a visceral need to close the distance, to check in, to send that thinking of you text, or to find some excuse to break the silence you've created. She does this not necessarily because she loves you in that moment, but because she needs to regain the certainty that she still has power over you. If you break and give in the moment she reaches out, you lose. If you remain grounded and maintain your boundary of silence until she has truly earned your engagement, you win. This is the difference between a man who is controlled by his emotions and a man who controls the environment. Most men fail at silence because they practice weak silence. Weak silence is when you aren't talking to her, but you are still obsessed with her. You're not texting her, but you're checking her social media every 10 minutes. You're not calling her, but you're accidentally posting stories that you know will get her attention. You are still mentally and emotionally tethered to her, and she can feel it. Even if you aren't speaking, your energy is still begging for her validation. This is essentially lurking, and it is one of the most unattractive things a man can do. It shows that you lack the discipline to actually walk away. Strong silence, however, is a total withdrawal of energy. It is the silence of a man who has better things to do than wait for a reply. It is the silence of a man who values his peace more than he values a woman's approval. Strong silence isn't about ignoring her to hurt her, it's about ignoring her to prioritize yourself. When a woman encounters strong silence, it is jarring. It feels like a wall of granite. She can't find a crack in it. She can't bait you into an argument. She can't use her usual emotional triggers to get a rise out of you. This makes you appear high value because only a man who truly knows his worth can afford to be silent. Weak men feel the need to defend their value. Strong men let their presence, or their absence, do the talking. If you find yourself constantly trying to explain why you deserve respect, you have already lost. Respect is not something you talk someone into. It is something you command through your behavior. Your silence tells her that her behavior has consequences. It tells her that your attention is a privilege, not a right. And if she devalues that privilege, she loses access to it. It really is that simple. The reason you struggle with this is that you have been conditioned to believe that you are responsible for her emotional state. You think that if she's upset, you have to fix it. If there's tension, you have to break it. This is a feminine trait. A man's job is to be the rock, the unmoving center. When the storm of her emotions hits the rock doesn't move. It doesn't start explaining itself to the waves, it just stays. By staying silent and grounded, you allow the storm to pass, and you show her that you are capable of leading. This creates a deep subconscious sense of security in a woman, even if she's complaining about your lack of communication in the moment. She wants to know that you are stronger than her moods. If she can pull a reaction out of you with every little withdrawal or every little jab, then she is the one leading the relationship. And a woman can never truly be attracted to a man she can lead. Silence is your way of saying, I am the leader here, and I do not move for anything less than excellence. This requires an incredible amount of discipline. It requires you to sit with your anxiety, to sit with the fear that she might walk away, and to realize that if she walks away because you stopped chasing her, she was never yours to begin with. You were just her temporary source of validation. You must be willing to let the relationship die to save your dignity. Most of you are so afraid of the relationship ending that you are willing to crawl through broken glass just to get a K text back. That is pathetic, and deep down, she knows it's pathetic. Your silence is the only thing that can kill that perception of you. It is the only thing that can reestablish you as a man of substance. When you stop talking, you stop the leak of your power. You start to build up a reservoir of masculine energy. You start to focus on your mission, your health, and your own life. And as you do that, you naturally become more attractive, not just to her, but to every woman you encounter. The paradox of attraction is that the less you need it, the more you get it. Silence is the ultimate expression of not needing it. It is the ultimate expression of self-sufficiency. Stop being the man who provides the soundtrack to her life. Start being the man who provides the structure. And structure often requires the quiet confidence of a man who knows exactly what he is doing. This isn't a hack or a trick. It is a way of life. It is the realization that your words are your most precious resource, and you should stop wasting them on people who haven't earned the right to hear them. Every time you feel that itch to reach out, to explain, to ask, where do we stand? I want you to put the phone down and embrace the silence. Feel the power returning to you. Watch as her behavior begins to shift. Watch as she starts to realize that you are not a man she can take for granted. This is the wake-up call you needed. Stop talking yourself out of her attraction. Start using your silence to build a man she can't help but respect. Discipline is the only way out of the hole you've dug for yourself. If you can't control your own tongue, you can't control your life. Master your silence, and you will master your reality. It is time to step into your power and stay there.